Hi, I'm Construction Gamer, and this is the Northern Powerhouse on Transport Fever 2. This is going to be episode number 6 in the series, and in this episode we're going to be building the famous Woodhead route, which once connected Manchester and Sheffield by Glossop and Penistone. It had the famous Woodhead Pass, which went through the Peak District, and there were actually, in the end, 3 tunnels, which are about 4 miles long, which went through the Peak District to Penistone. The first one opened in 1845, the second one 1853, and then famously the third and final tunnel opened in 1953 and then was famously closed in 1970, well, closed to passengers anyway, and then eventually closed altogether, and now the National Grid own all 3 of the tunnels. The National Grid were using Woodhead 2 for high voltage cables, and that was up until about 2012 when they decided to switch over to Woodhead 3 for its high voltage cables through the Peak District. So the likelihood of this line reopening is quite slim. There is a campaign to reopen it because it would be quite a useful route to have to connect Sheffield and Manchester, but yeah, it's going to be tricky getting those reopened with high voltage cables running through them. The actual route itself, so it comes from Manchester to the Manchester to Glossop section, is still open to passengers, so we're going to keep that in the game going forward. That's why I only put Glossop on the map rather than Hadfield, which is closer to the actual tunnel portal on the western side. Now, because of the scale of the map, the tunnel itself is going to be somewhat exaggerated from what it is in real life, but I just thought it'd be good to represent it in any way that I could. Now, what we need firstly is some sort of junction here, because what I'm going to do is, because Glossop isn't really on the Woodhead route as such, there is actually a triangle, well, there was a triangle sort of junction arrangement, so I'm going to have trains coming from the Manchester direction, and they are going to turn around up Glossop and then head off to Penistone. But before we do that, we need a new platform. Now, I'm not going to be bothering with the actual real stations as they were. We're just having Manchester at the minute. It's just called Manchester. We're not going to bother naming this station. It's just going to be called Manchester for now, and then eventually it will be replaced via Manchester Piccadilly, which will be in this sort of location in the end, and then Manchester Victoria, which will be to the west of it. We've got fences and walls, but we only want canopies. What are we doing? This has all changed. This has been updated. I've got the UK station segments installed, and it's changed a little bit since I last used it. So what we're going to do here, we're going to have a blue, I think, a nice Northern Rail blue, because who doesn't like Northern Rail apart from people who use the service? So we'll chuck those down. I know it's not in keeping with the actual station itself, but it does look quite good. So we'll chuck that in there. Then we'll get some canopies over the top in the same sort of blue colour. I know we're going to be demolishing this station at some point anyway, but why not have some nice canopy while it's in use? So that's done. I'm not spending a huge amount of time on that station, like I said, because it is being demolished, but we're just going to have a section coming out here towards there. We don't really want any fancy tunnels. We want the tunnels to be kept for the actual Woodhead tunnel route, just to set it apart really. Obviously there is a road in the way. That is a main connection. I'm going to annoy some people. We'll put that back shortly. Connect that up. Just nice and straightforward. Nothing fancy. Now, the thing with this route is I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it come 1970 rather. When it gets shut, I was thinking about just keeping it for like posterity's sake and just having it as almost like a heritage railway. Now, the Woodhead Tunnel number 3, which was the latest open tunnel, That was to allow for electrification of the route. Now, unusually for British electrification, it was electrified with 1500 volts overhead wires, which is, or I think it was 1500 DC as well, which is quite unusual because most UK overhead, or all UK overhead lines now use 25 kV. 25 kV something or other. So yeah, it is quite unusual in that respect. Now I do have a couple, I've just subscribed to some Class 76s which were used on the route between 1953 and 1970, and I do plan to use those. So as soon as it gets 1953 and those trains become available, I will start operating them on the route itself. So just putting this little triangle junction in here just to allow trains to go to Glossop, reverse, and then head off to Penistone. It's pretty slow, but I don't think trains will be going that fast anyway, so I'm not too concerned. So yeah, I am going to electrify the route, and I am already electrifying the route. Now I don't want to do that actually just yet. Let's get rid of that. Just defaulted, and I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to be all factual and things like that, which doesn't always go to plan. But no, we don't want electrification just yet. We want to, I know I said at the very start of this series, I don't really want it to be completely historical, but I would like to, at some different points within the game, be at least a little bit factual with the actual railways that I'm building. So I think because of the significance of this route, and it is well known throughout the rail world, then turn that up a bit. Then I thought that's the wrong one. That's why I thought it'd be worth documenting properly. So that is not going to be electrified until the 1953. So we're going to get a station in here. Now we do have quite a bit of money because I've been just saving up just for this route, because it is going to be quite expensive. So although it's not completely necessary, I'm going to do some demolition actually, just to try and get the station in a good spot. So it's going to be a terminus anyway, so I'll keep that as it is. Might update it as buildings become unlocked and things like that. So we're just going to go, I think we'll just go with one station, 160 metres, that's long enough, and then just dump that in there like so. What side's that come out on? That's alright, that's good. No, I'll delete that whole road, because what I want is to configure that station, not that one. I want to configure this station please, just to have some passenger steps. So misc, chuck that in there, get rid of that, and just have a road, hopefully gentle like so, just so we've got some access over here. And that pretty much what it does, it covers the whole area. So you can bring this track in, probably not in the best location. I might have to mess with it a bit in the future just to allow for higher speeds, but we'll see what it says anyway when we put it in. 50, 75, we haven't got high speed tracks anyway, so 75 is the max at the minute. 49 isn't great, but thinking about it, I'm not sure how fast the DMUs will be going. That will be operating on this route eventually anyway. We do have some Class 156s out already, which is good news because they will be used prolifically on this game. As for the autosave, takes 100 years. Right, so that's in. Yeah, we only need to go with the one platform because it is eventually just going to be a shuttle between Manchester and Glossop, yeah. So right, get that in there. A couple of signals in here. Get them in before I forget. Yeah, so I do need to think about what I'm going to do with this actual route. When I know I'm going to build it and then possibly demolish it, but I don't really want to do that. I might keep it. So what we want to do now is we want to start looking where Penistone is. It's about over there somewhere. If we get the track in, try and bring it up a bit. No, that's as far as it'll go. The good thing with Transport Fever 2 is you can have quite severe cuttings. Famously in Transport Fever 1 it would just say not possible, but yeah, don't worry, I know it's ugly, but it won't be staying like that. I just want to keep it above ground for as long as I can. You can press play now. Just trying to keep the money trickling in. And what do I want to do? The brush size of the terrain tool. Just bring this down here just ever so slightly. Like I said, the tunnel is going to be exaggerated anyway, scale in terms of scale, but it should be nice to have it represented in sort of the right location. So we get that, and then I think we'll whack the tunnel in under that coal mine there and interfere with the coal workings. So bring it there, and then just comes out just before. Bring it down a little bit because I think Penistone is just sitting a little bit lower. So yeah, it's a bit more west than it should be, and it's probably much longer than it should be, but I think in terms of the scale and everything like that, I don't think I'm too unhappy with how it looks. Just try and bring this down a little bit. I know we're spending a lot of money, you know, £1 million is going to be blown just doing this little bit, but I just want it to look nice for when you take the actual train journey itself. So next thing I want to do is get Penistone in. We are going to be building Sheffield Victoria in this instance. I know I said I wasn't going to be messing around too much with realistic station placement, but yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So Penistone wants to be 2 platforms because we are going to have 2 tracking continued. Just bring that in around there. And where's the track? So it's going to come round here, and it needs to be on a sort of angle, not quite. The actual Penistone station does actually still exist, but what it has on the real station is a platform bending off, or a section of track bending off to the left, or to the west rather, which would obviously go towards the Woodhead Pass, and then there's a section of track which goes off somewhere or other. But yeah, we're just going to have this continue. May as well just straight line it, see if that's connected up to the right side. No more tunnels, please, just above ground. Yeah, this is quite expensive. We've got 2 platforms, good. And bring that round. Yeah, we'll have to sort that cutting out as well. That's going to be expensive. What's up with you? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right, connect that back up and then get this road back in before something happens. I don't know what would happen, but yeah, let's just try and keep them happy, like so. Nothing too fancy. Get that connected back up. So we've got the tunnel in there. I think what I'll have is actually some signals. I don't want too many signals, but I will have some signals, semaphores, on the entrances to the tunnel portals, and then we'll sort this out as well, because I'll just forget, not end up doing it. That is a bit too severe. I know it's good that we can actually have severe cuttings in there now, whereas previously we couldn't, but we just need to make that look a little bit nicer and spend £1.5 million in the process. Take off the angular edges of that cutting as well, and that is that. So we've got connected up to Penistone, and then just like that. Do I want something that big? No, we'll bring that back to about there. We'll have it on. We can't bring it down any further. I hope we're going to be able to get down to Sheffield in time. So where are we? Sheffield's over there, so we want to start bending in. Not sure if this is completely accurate really, but it will have to do for now. Once I've decided what I'm actually going to do with the actual railway itself. That is not... Actually, we don't want to be coming down too much. We're going to thread through that little bit there, just so we're not building too much in the way of infrastructure or doing too much earth moving. Just get this in there, through that gap. Not in a tunnel. What's that doing? No. Just want mounds, please. And then hopefully this looks relatively flat towards Sheffield. I'm trying to build a big tunnel again. No, that's not letting me come up any quicker than that. So we're just going to glance past that. We are getting a lot off track. So we're going to start curving in. Actually, what am I going to do? We are coming towards... Actually, I was going to do Sheffield Victoria, but I think I'm just going to do Sheffield Station while we're here, or the start of it. So we'll put in buildings, station, 240 metres long, I think, because it will be part of... Oi! Oi! Stop it. This will be part of the main line. So all main line stations want to be 240 metres long, just in case of the length of any multiple units that we have in the future. Bring that over there and just hope that that connects up. Yeah, so the station itself isn't in the accurate position anymore, but I'm just going to live with that, I think. Just have... We don't... What? A tunnel? No. No tunnels unless we want to make an actual statement with it. It's not always completely necessary. I know it's more expensive to do cuttings, but I think it just looks a little bit better, especially on the journeys which I plan to do, as I did in my Transport Fever 1 series. I'll do a journey at the end of each episode. You don't really want to be in tunnels for the entire journey. Just take some of that edge off there. We've spent best part of £15 million now building this route. I think I'm going to... I just can't leave those little... where it's really angular, where it meets the ground. It just doesn't look right at all. So that's in place. Sheffield Station, that's going to be the sort of where it's going to be. That's where the station. That's where Sheffield Station is going to be. Can I get a bridge over? Come on. Why isn't M and N working? So something like that, and then something like that. Will do. Get rid of that. I know the corners are a bit sharp on there, and this needs... Has this got an underpass? Yes, it has. And now it's in a bit of a cutting, which is not ideal. I'm going to get rid of that. No, what am I doing? Get rid of that and that. Not that. We're not going to get down there in time, are we? Right, so we're still paused. What we want to do is configure this station and get... No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Configure platforms. Chuck them on there. And then where is the MISC? Oh, we've already got the underpass, so we don't need to worry about that. Cargo, passenger buildings, and then just have that on there, so they've got access to both sides of the station. And then get rid of that. Try and build a bit of road in here. So where are we? Is that Alright, that's not too bad. I can live with that. I don't think the road's going to come down in time. No, it's not. So, see if that'll do anything. Not great, but it will do. And then connect that up to something. Connect it up to something. Like that. That'll do. Let's get it in. And then up to there. It's not the best. We probably come back in a bit later when we've got a bit more money. We really are starting to spend a bit too much now. Probably on that demolition didn't really do much for our bank balance. Back to trains, semaphores. Chuck one in there. Chuck one in before Penistone and like so. We've got some in there, and then we've got one in here. And where is that track? Did we only single track it from way back here? Yes, we did. So we are almost done. Just the final little bit to do now to Manchester. And then just have that. Rather than doing anything fancy with a diamond crossover, we could just have those platforms like that. Don't really want to be messing around too much with it at the minute. So where is the midpoint? Doesn't matter where the midpoint is because the trains just do whatever they want. So I'm going to just speed up the game just slightly and put in a depot. Buildings, depots. So we'll put him on there, and then we need the actual route itself. So new route or new line. Yeah, so we'll have it come into Glossop, it'll turn round, then head back out towards Sheffield. Not sure if that's completely accurate. We can mess around with that later on, but I would like Glossop to be connected up at some point. One-way signals. Stop moaning. What's that done? Why? Why has it done that? So terminals. You want to be, so you're coming down here. Number 3, you want to be in terminal 2. Why can't you just do that for yourself? It's not complicated. So we've got that in place. We've got some money trickling in, hopefully. Why is the money going down? That's not good. We weren't doing too bad. Balance. That's starting to. That was the Liverpool Manchester was doing all right for a while. I'm not sure what sort of. We've got 60 of 70, so it is using that. No, we want the actual lines themselves. That's why, because looking at individual vehicles. So Bradford Interchange to Hull, which is the last line we built. That's 1.9 million. That's pretty good. Liverpool Manchester. I've added some extra carriages to that, and it is being used, but it's only just about reaching 1 million, which isn't good. Would like that to be a bit higher. I would have thought it would have been, especially with the number of people it's carrying. I've also, in these ones, the passenger vehicles, I have set to the Sterling 8 foot, so they are British locomotives now on the passenger routes, trying to get them as accurate as well, not accurate as in which vehicles are operating on the route, but just having, going forward, only British trains operating on the different routes. So they are making money now. Those 2 passenger routes that we had in service, remember, if you remember the first couple of episodes, I tried to put in a service between Liverpool and St Helens. I didn't really make any money, but as soon as I extended it to Manchester, I started making a good amount of profit. We've got loads of people. Manchester Stockport. I'm just trying to buy a bit of time while we get some money in the bank but I do want to be improving the prospects by another 2 of those. Manchester Stockport is yellow. We can change the colour of the vehicles, set the operating costs, and then you want to be on Manchester Stockport like so. So they are sorted now. The problem is we've still got these stupid old Sterling or whatever these are. What are you? DMG. They're only capable of 16 miles per hour, where the buses now that we have in operation are capable of 25 miles per hour. So that's a bit better. Hopefully what we'll do is come over here, and we're going to need, I think, probably 3 trains for this. So we look at the steam. We'll go with the Sterling 8-foot, and passenger wagons, we're still stuck with the 62 miles per hour, 14 capacity 6-wheelers. We'll just do 4 of those, and we want 3, which we can't quite afford just yet. Almost. It's going up and down. Right, okay, we'll speed things up again. I'm sure we'll pay that off in no time at all. So I wanted 3 of them. Yes. Colour. I don't really want to change the colour of the locomotive, if I can help it, but it just changes. I should have done that in the actual depot and just had the carriages in green. We'll increase the maintenance to 25, and we'll just set them on line 1, which we should have named 2 Manchester Sheffield via Woodhead. And then in the future, the actual Sheffield service, which is in operation now, is Manchester to Sheffield via somewhere else. It calls Stockport first and then comes through like the south of the Peak District. I just need to research that route, but we'll keep that running for now. So hopefully, just while we're messing around with other routes, Sheffield will begin to grow a little bit. How's it doing in sort of terms of prospects? Not too bad. Obviously, I'm going to have to do what I normally do, which is get some shuttle buses in. So I'll connect Barnes, Leeds, Penistone, Rotherham, Sheffield with buses, and Glossop won't have any buses. No, not to Barnford. That's a bit too convoluted. But yeah, just to try and feed passengers in. We've already got passengers waiting, all 3 of them. Hopefully these trains will space themselves out. I've tried to make sure the signalling does allow them to spread out a little bit. What's going on here with terms of, yep, they're both stopping at that. We've already got 17 people who want to go to Manchester. They're going to have a bit of a wait, but we do have passengers waiting. So there we are. That is the famous kind of Woodhead tunnel. Slightly exaggerated given the actual terrain, but I'm not too unhappy with how it's looking. So there we do. We've got that route in. I'm pretty certain this will make a profit at some stage, especially with the feeder buses coming into Sheffield and Penistone. And then, yeah, I don't think the money's too bad. We repay some of this while we're here. Yeah, look at that, 21.8. So we spent with the trains, we spent over 40 million on that. So I don't think, given it's only 1912, it's not doing too bad. So yeah, there we are. There is the Woodhead route built. I will leave you now with the journey from Manchester to Sheffield via Woodhead. Hopefully it looks quite nice and quite scenic-ish. So there we are. I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm going to say until next time, bye bye.